Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs, and today I'm part of a really fun hop. So let's jump in and we'll talk about the hop a little bit later. So I'm going to start by cutting down the cardstock, and I chose to use sketch number 10 of Kendra's card challenge. This is the 14th one that she's done, and I chose sketch 10 just because I thought that it would be really fun to work with negative space. That's something I struggle with a bit. I am a more is more style creator as a general rule, so I struggle to kind of rein myself back. So I thought that would be a really fun design to work with. And so for that, I needed to create I have an A2 base set aside. And then for my panel, I'm going to cut down a piece of my favorite HammerMill cardstock and a piece of black Shimmer cardstock, and that's what I'm going to create the panel out of. So I cut one to 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and then the mat is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And all of these measurements are with the sketches, so you can definitely check that out when you go and click on the links. And then for the design, I needed 3 squares with mats. So the square is cut to 1.5 inches, and I need 3 of those. And then the mat for the square is cut to 1 5/8 inches. So you get a little border all the way around. And I chose some pattern paper out of my collection. I've had this in my stash for a very long time. If you've been with my channel for a little while, you know that I struggle to use pattern paper. I just tend to make my own backgrounds and to kind of create my own stuff. So though I love pattern paper and I have a collection of it, because, I once in a while have to take it down and pet it and put it back, I am trying to use it. And Kendra's card challenges really give me a fun way to use it because she comes up with the designs and then I just get to create the design and be a part of a really cool hop. So I think that's a lot of fun, and I had a really great time creating this card. So as I glue everything, let's talk a bit about the hop. So as I said, this is Kendra's card challenge number 14. Hard to believe we're already at 14, but she's done 14 of these cool sketches. And this is the hop. This is featuring a super sponsor, which is This Calls For Confetti, which is a pretty cool company. They sent a stamp and die set that I'm going to use a little later in this card design, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you so much to This Calls For Confetti to sending stuff for us to get to play with. That's really amazing. And yeah, there is a whole bunch of information in the description box that you can go and check out. This is a hop. There are other videos you can check out. So make sure you go through them, watch them all, leave a comment, leave a like. There is a giveaway. All the information is down below. You can check that out. And yeah, if you enjoy the creators that you're seeing, please subscribe and leave them a like. That is how we know that you're enjoying our content. So it's always great to have that feedback. So now I'm going to use the die set. So here's the die. It is a set of dies. It came and it was all rectangles, and then there was the word happy as well. And I chose to use the word happy, and I'm going to cut it 3 times from some light gray cardstock. This is what's going to create my sentiment. And you would have seen that from the starting image that I just showed, but I cut 3 layers because I wanted it to stand against the background and have some of its own visual weight. And that's kind of what I was thinking, but I didn't want to introduce any new colors. I really wanted this card to shine in its subtlety. As you can see, I'm really only bringing in that little bit of the kind of corally pink, and then everything else is white or black or a little bit of gray. So because of that, I'm trying to limit myself and keep it a little bit simple so that I can kind of focus on having a clean and simple design while having some really pretty negative space. This is honestly a challenge for me. If you've seen the other cards that I have on my channel, you'll see that I do tend to very bright and vibrant colors. I tend to, doing things across the whole panel. So I really want to challenge myself with stuff like this, like Kendra's challenges, because it is something so out of what I normally make that it's really fun to kind of challenge myself and do something just a bit different and play with it and have a lot of fun. So that is what my aim was for this card. And I adhered my H down and realized that it had to go a specific way. So I had to lift it back up and just kind of fix it there. So on my next layer, I know that it has to go a certain way. The line across is just slightly higher, so it doesn't go directly across the center, which was of course me. That was 100% me. It had nothing to do with the die. I just struggled to get it centered on the H there, but I figured it out. We got it fixed, and I'm just going to layer up the letters of the happy. And you can see that my glue is kind of leaking. So if you have any tips on this, I don't know why it's doing it. It just started leaking. It's like half full, and it doesn't matter if it's standing up or laying down. It just kind of seeps out. And there's so much excess that you see me wiping it on my glass mat just that I don't have it everywhere when I'm trying to adhere these thin layers together. So I don't know why it's doing that. If you know, please let me know, because I would love for it to stop. But that is why you see me keep wiping it on my glass mat. And thankfully, I have a glass mat, so it's really easy to clean up once I have that problem. But so yeah, so make sure you go and check out the links below. There will be a whole bunch of information in the description box. You can go and sign into the giveaway. I believe it closes May 25th. So if you're seeing this after May 25th, sadly the deadline has happened for that giveaway. But if you're before May 25th, so anytime between now and May 25th, make sure you go and click the link and it can take you over there. And it is announced on Kendra's channel on the community tab. So hopefully you know where her channel is. There's a link to her channel as well. So I mean, you can go and see that there as well. But if you have a chance, please enter the giveaway because Kendra has a lot of great stuff, and I think it'd be really fun to win some things from her. So I've adhered all of my layers of the word happy, and now I'm going to bring in just a little bit. I'm going to adhere everything first. Sorry, I made this a couple of days ago, so now I'm confused as to what steps I did. I'm going to lay out my design the way that Kendra has the sketch laid out, and I don't tend to measure things. I tend to eyeball things. I'm not aiming for perfection. I'm just aiming for something that's quite pretty. And the design is already that. So I just kind of line them up. She does have exact measurements on her sketches if that's something that you would like to do. So you know exactly how far the triangles need to be from each other and from like the point of the card. But I wasn't concerned about that. I just kind of adhered them in the design the way it looks. And then I kind of was just happy with that. And then I'm going to bring in just a little bit of Oxide ink. I wanted to add some dimension to my happy. So I'm going to bring in first is Hickory Smoke, and I'm just going to go up the bottom of the letter so that I kind of have a bit of an ombre between the light gray cardstock and the gray color. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of black soot just to darken up the bottom a touch more. Honestly, this is just because I like the look of it. You don't need to do this step if that's not your jam, but I have a tendency towards more is more, as I said, and sometimes I don't know when to stop. So you could have just adhered the letters and that would have been beautiful. But because I have the things and I can do the things, I like to do the things. So I'm going to add just a touch of black soot. And then that kind of just creates a little bit of an ombre across my word and just makes it a little more interesting to look at because I do want the words to kind of be where you focus first. So that was kind of my aim. And I did bring in the little blending foam that I used with Hickory Smoke again, just to blend out the black soot so that it was a little more even. And then from the stamp set that This Calls For Confetti sent us, I used the word birthday because I want my sentiment to read happy birthday, and I am going to trim that down. I wanted it to kind of sit across the word happy, and thankfully you know what it says, so there is no problem there. I kind of wish I had made it just a touch smaller. I will cut it down from what it is currently, but it does kind of cover more of the word happy than I really wanted it to. But you can still read it, so you still know what the sentiment is. But I do wish I had cut it down just a touch more so that you could see more of the word happy, but I don't think that it turned out poorly. And then I'm just kind of giving this little banner some fishtails so that it kind of just looks more like Kendra's design. She had this on this sentiment and I thought this would be pretty cute. At this point, I haven't cut it down yet, but I am going to lay it across, realize how much it covers, and then trim it down just a little bit more, equally on each side so that my fish banner still looks like it makes sense. So I kind of like to line up the top of the letters with the layer of the trimmer. Hopefully this makes sense. It's hard to see because, of course, the trimmer arm is in the way, but I like to line up the letters with where it's going to cut. And then that kind of gives me a good idea of how much I'm going to have on top and bottom. And really, you couldn't cut off much more at this point, but I do kind of wish I had tried, just because you'll see here when I go to layer it up, it does end up covering just a touch more of happy than I wish it had, but that's okay. It still reads happy birthday, so I'm okay with it. It just, I wish I had just kind of thought that out a little bit better, but I love how this card design came together. I mean, I can't take credit for the design because obviously Kendra came up with it. I just love the kind of simplicity that it gives. As I said, you guys, I'm a very heavy-handed crafter, so I struggle with negative space and simplistic designs for myself. So it's always really fun to see them come together, and it was a lot of fun and kind of a challenge. So I had great time making this. So thank you so much to Kendra, who creates these challenges and all these really great designs. It's mind-boggling to me how she does it. She creates all these beautiful designs out of one 6x6 pattern paper, and it's mind-boggling. So I just thank you so much, Kendra, and thank you for including me in this hop. And thank you so much to This Calls for Confetti for also sending over these great items. They're so much fun. I'm excited to have them in my stash. You can never go wrong with birthday sentiments or rectangle dies. I mean, they're, always useful. So if you haven't heard of the company, go and check them out. They have some great stuff, and they have really cool shaker bits and stuff too as well. So they have quite an array of things, and it looks like they're branching out into even more stuff, which is pretty exciting. And then in the design, there were a few little gems just coming down the one corner. And again, because I'm trying to stay in the same color palette, I don't want to introduce new colors. I did bring in just a couple of gems I had in my stash that were kind of the similar corally pink color. So I lined those up on the edge there to mimic the sketch that Kendra has. And that's pretty much the whole card design. But because, again, I am a more is more crafter, I just wanted a little bit more shimmer and shine. So I brought in my clear glitter pen, and I just added it on top of the word happy so that it gives just a subtle shimmer in the background, and it kind of matches that black shimmery cardstock that's the matte layer of everything. And I think it turned out really great, and I'm in love with this card. So I'm going to hold it up here for you in a second so you can check it out in all of its glory. Please let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video. And make sure you go and check out the other people in the hop. I know that there's going to be a lot of great inspiration and a lot of really fun cards, so make sure you check them out. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.